This video is going to be for a continuous granny square, and I'm going to make it the way that I would make a granny square. There will be different ways of doing it. I do not tend to chain more than one between each set, and I mean the corner sets. I don't chain at all between the side sets. So if you do, then you know, obviously you do it the way that you want to do, but this is the way that I do it. I like the neatness of it. So I've made a magic circle, chaining 3, and then I'm placing 2 more double crochets, UK trebles, US doubles, so 2 more, followed by 1 chain, then a set of 3 double crochets, and again I'm going to follow that with another chain, and another 3. I'm going to make 4 sets altogether, including the starting chain, so 2, 3 and a chain, and the last one, so 1, 2, 3 and a chain. So I should now have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 3 double crochets or UK trebles. I'm not completely pulling that tight, I just want to tighten it up a little bit, and I'm going to now slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, which is just there. Okay. Now at the end of each go round, I turn my work. I don't slip stitch to the next corner. I turn my work and I start from that corner. Again, if that's not what you prefer to do, then you know, you do it in the way that you know. The reason I do it is because if I'm turning the work, I have a better, squarer centre. You'll find that if you don't turn your work, you will end up with an off-centre square that sort of twists as it goes. If I can find any images, I'll show you. There's nothing wrong with it, and you might like that, and that therefore do it that way. But I want my square to stay as square as possible, so this is one of the ways to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist that round. I am going to just pull my stitch by slip stitching it into the space. I'm going to try anyway. For some reason it's not wanting to do it. There we go. And then I'm chaining 3 again. So this is going to be, well, they're all going to be corners because I've got 4 sets. So they're all going to be corners. In every corner we do this in more or less the same way, apart from the very starting corner. Chain 3, 2 double crochets. So that's one of the clusters. So that's a granny cluster. Chain 1 for the corner, and then a set of granny clusters of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So after this round, you'll see it starts to look a bit more like a square. So then what we're going to do is we're going to skip over these 3, and we're going to, in the next chain space, so between the 2 clusters, we're going to go in and make another 3 double crochets. Notice I've not put any chain between that. So, to be fair, my hook's probably a little bit smaller than it should be. But again, I quite like a tight granny square. Chain 1 and another 3. So, okay, so you can start to see already that's starting to get a bit square, isn't it? Then in between the next set, we're going to do another corner cluster. So 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, okay, and we're going to repeat that in the last one of those. So 3 double crochets, chain 1, more yarn, and 3 double crochets. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 yet again. So this set, so let me just going to pull that through, although I'm going to turn it around again in a second. So hopefully you can see now we have got a square coming up. So a granny cluster is this set of 3 double crochets, and then a corner cluster is a set of 3 with a chain space and another set of 3. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to continue around, and in every corner space, so where there's a chain 1, we're going to make another corner, and in the side spaces, so where we don't have a chain 1, we're going to make just a standard cluster. So we'll do it together and that will make more sense as we do this together. Just lift that up slightly. Okay, so again, I'm going to turn the work over. I'm going to slip stitch into this section. I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. So this is my granny cluster. Sorry, just getting some more yarn. So this is my granny cluster because I'm not in a corner section. I'm on a side section. So I've done a granny cluster, and now I'm going to go into this corner and I'm going to do a corner cluster. So I'm yarning over, no space, and I'm going to do 3 double crochets. So my first granny cluster, followed by a chain, followed by another 3 double crochets. So I now have 1 granny cluster and 1 corner granny cluster. I'm going to go down the side. I'm going to put another cluster into the middle, so just 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go into the next one, and this is a corner one, so I'm going to do another corner in the corner. 1, 2, 3, a space, and another 3. Okay. So there we have 2 corners, and we're going to go along this side now. So again, into that center section, 3 double crochets, and I'm going into our corner. I'm going to do a corner cluster, so 3, chain 1 and 3. So that was my chain 1. I'm doing the next 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a cluster, followed by a corner cluster. So, 3, and then I am coming up to this is the first stitch that we made, first cluster we made, so we're going to go into the top of that chain 3. Yeah. So you can see now, hopefully, in fact I'll turn that, twist it round, because we're going to do that in a second anyway. So hopefully you can see at the sides we have a cluster of 3, and in the corners we have a cluster of 3, a chain, and another cluster of 3. So as we go around each time, we increase the number of extra sections that we're going to put in. So as we go around this time, if you see on this side, we've got a corner here, hopefully you can see that, corner here, and then there's going to be 2 granny clusters rather than the 1, and then another corner. So each time it gets a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. Okay. And you would continue in that vein until it was the size that you wanted it to be.